All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So, for those of you that are new, my name is Addy, and I've started a new series here on YouTube with documenting my journey of starting an SMMA entirely from scratch and as a complete beginner. So, as you guys can see, we've been following this structure throughout this entire series. Just in episode one, we pretty much covered all the foundations of our agency. We got the name sorted, we purchased our domain and email, we also warmed up our email, and then we selected our niche, finalized our service, and also set our offer and pricing. And then in episode two, we went ahead and did the outreach plan. So pretty much everything related to our outreach we covered in that episode. So we figured out our method of outreach. We created some lead lists. We also created our scripts, and then we also set some outreach trackers to track our progress. And in episode three, we pretty much took a step back and understood the entire service delivery process before we even went forward. So I figured if we understood the whole service delivery process from a higher level before we even went into the whole sales meeting process or connected with business owners, we'd have a better understanding. So in that episode, we pretty much created a process guide that shows the entire service delivery process, everything that we need to do once we sign a client, and it pretty much will help us answer questions that the clients may have. So, anyways, in this episode, we're going to be going into the sales meeting preparation process. So, we're going to create our slide deck. We're going to get our meeting scheduler and some trackers in place. And then we're also going to set some time to pretty much master the material. And interestingly enough, I did record this episode already, but I don't know what happened. I think I was using a shitty software and it ended up losing all the files. So, I opened it the next day and it just said can't locate files for some reason. So, when I did previously record this episode, I was showing the entire process of creating the slide deck and everything. Of course, at this point, it's already done, but I'll see if I could recover any files from before and, kind of use it here. But I will go over it once again and just show you guys my thought process for creating it. And I'll upload everything in the resource folder, as I've mentioned before. All right, cool. So before we actually get into the whole sales meeting preparation part, I just wanted to show you guys some of the conversations that I've been having with these business owners, so you guys can get an idea of what type of results we're seeing. Of course, we haven't signed a client quite yet, but we've been getting some decent responses. A lot of the businesses are interested or open. So I figured I'd just show you guys some of these conversations. So there are a lot of pages that have been responding with answers like this. They've been saying only questions pertaining to our services, nothing marketing related. I've gotten a few of those. Of course, there's a lot of agencies out there, and especially in the big cities. So these guys probably have their DMs flooded with agencies saying, "Hey guys, this is a good place for questions." So I don't blame them really. And then another example is this one. These guys were pretty established and they had a big following. They asked me to give them a follow and said thank you. After that, I dropped some voice messages and then they said, "I'll pass for now. I'm working with someone currently." And then another example, this one was actually positive. These guys said, "Hey, for sure, what questions do you have?" After I said my response, they said, "Thanks for considering. What kind of advertising do you run?" I dropped two voice messages and then they said, "Oh, okay, awesome. We'd be interested to see how it goes." I didn't receive a reply afterwards though. So I gave them a phone call, followed up with the person that was at the front desk, and then they gave me their email address. So I sent them an email. And this was the one that I ended up sending them. This was 5 days ago. So I'm going to have to follow up with them again this week. But I figured I'd just show you guys the email. And once again, all of this is included in the resource folder. All of my emails, the scripts, the slide deck, pretty much everything that I'm using, I'm dropping onto that resource folder. So if there's anyone else that's getting started, you have access to everything that you need. And I included a quick Loom video. I figured they'd be able to see my face, so it'd be a bit more personal. So yeah, let's see. I'll keep you guys updated with that lead as well. And then this was a conversation I had with a business owner back in November. These guys are a pretty established detailing shop within my city. They have a good following and they're pretty well known. So I was even surprised that they responded to my message. So they said, "Hey, Addy, this sounds very promising. Let us know when you have a bit of game plan and we could bring you into the office and we can chat with both owners." And then I sent them a couple messages afterwards. So this was back in November and it was a pretty busy month, especially going into the whole holiday season. So I totally understand why they weren't able to reply to it right away. But they pretty much said, "Hello, yes, it's been very busy in the office and we haven't had a chance to get back to everything else that is not related to booking and work production." They said, "Apologies, we shall reach out to you in the near future." So I'm hoping that I'm still able to work with these guys. I'm going to follow up with them probably this week, maybe send them a quick voice message or an email, maybe even a phone call. So I'll keep you guys updated with all these leads. I'm hoping that we're able to sign a client in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, with that being said, we'll just get straight into the slide deck. All right, so this is the slide deck that I ended up creating. It's about 16 slides, but it's not really text heavy. So my approach with this was that I wanted to keep it very simple and light, but at the same time have all the relevant information included. So if I was to share a copy of this with my clients, they could kind of open it up and still read all the important information that they needed to. But at the same time, the stuff that I could kind of discuss and explain to them, I figured I'd just keep that off the slides. And there's a lot of visuals, and I kept it aesthetically pleasing as well. So that's my approach. I'm going to go through each of the slides and just explain to you guys my thought process in case there is anyone that ends up using the slide deck. It's probably important for you guys to understand how I went about creating it and what my thought process is going to be when I'm using it during my sales calls. And I just wanted to bring it up once again. In the past, I mentioned that I've been using Max Pearson's resources. So he has a slide deck that I was previously using. So this slide, for instance, is just taken from that. Some of the slides are inspired by the work that he's done. Once again, you guys can definitely check out his page and use the resources that he offers entirely for free. All right, so in slide one, I just included my business name. I also included a quick sentence here. I just wrote revolutionizing the auto detailing industry through digital marketing and AI optimization. And then going into slide two, I just had a quick about us section. So I wrote small agency located in Vancouver, BC, and then one industry, three services, which I'll get to in just a bit. And then there's a slide dedicated to our company goal. So I'm located in Canada, so I wrote to assist Canadian automotive detailers in securing ready to convert clients and boosting overall revenues through targeted digital marketing solutions. And that's straight out of ChatGPT, in case you guys couldn't tell. So the slide after that is about the problem. So this one I actually thought about a little bit. So for the first slide, I wrote most automotive detailing companies are looking to find a marketing system that improves their brand presence and helps them generate high quality leads. And because of that, a lot of these business owners resort to posting on social media. So of course, there's no downside to posting on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm sure it's very beneficial for their overall brand presence. But in my opinion, there's a problem of targeting your exact clients. So going back to that example with the window tinting company, I had a sales call with. They were pretty established. They had around 16,000 followers on Instagram, and on TikTok they were pushing around 100K. But when I hopped on call with this business owner, I asked him out of curiosity, how many clients are you actually converting from TikTok and Instagram? And they pretty much said barely any, because of course they're getting a lot of views and a lot of likes, but they're not actually able to target their exact audience that would pay for these window tinting services. So although they were getting a lot of views, they weren't actually converting to clients. So that's pretty much what I wrote on this slide. I'm going to use that example when I hop on a sales call with my potential clients in the detailing niche, and I'll pretty much explain to them that of course it's great posting on social media for your overall visibility and presence, but at the same time you're not able to target the exact client that would end up paying $2,000 for paint protection film, right? So that's kind of my approach to promote my service, which is Facebook ads, just in comparison to posting on social media regularly. So yeah, for the next slide, I pretty much just wrote what I just explained. Our solution integrates Facebook ads for targeted reach, efficient appointment setting for streamlined operations, and AI technologies for smart data-driven marketing. And then another slide for the solution here. It just explains in detail the Facebook ads for targeted reach, appointment setting, and the whole done for you solution. So here I pretty much took more of a visual approach to explaining the entire process from A to Z. So it starts with segment analysis. So this is where I sit with the business owner. I understand their entire target market, who's purchasing these type of products, pretty much the customer that we would be advertising to. I would understand their entire profile. And then it goes into meta ads, launching the Facebook and Instagram advertisements. From the meta ads, we're creating a lead form. And then once we captured all those leads, we're doing the full appointment setting process to actually get them through the door. I also included a slide for retargeting. So I'm pretty much going to explain to the business owner that we're going to be able to capture all the leads that come to your website but leave. So once they leave, they're going to see all of our ads on these meta platforms such as Facebook and Instagram. And then here's another slide that I'm going to use to explain the appointment setting process in further detail. So I wrote marketing and sales are a dynamic duo. Fixing one while neglecting the other isn't the solution. Both demand our attention. And of course, I'm going to be giving more information while I go through this. This isn't all the information that I'm going to be giving. And then the slide after that goes into explaining the Go High Level software. So I just have some points here that explain the software in further detail. So the first point says white labeled software, unified lead tracking, automation for instant engagement, and then optimized lead management. So these 4 points I'm going to be using to explain Go High Level in the appointment setting process. And then this slide, as I mentioned earlier, I got from a different slide deck. So it just gives all the features for Go High Level. And then lastly, it goes into the offer. So before I actually get into the whole pricing part, I just wrote the value that we're going to be bringing. So we're doing campaign management, tailored digital marketing solutions, brand retargeting, streamlined appointment setting, white label software setup and management, comprehensive lead management, and strategic consulting. And then it goes into 2,500 per month. But of course, as I mentioned to you guys, I'm going to be working entirely for free. And just below that, I wrote excluding ad spend and software fees. All right, so that's pretty much it for the slide deck. I'm just going to come back to the Figma board and mark that as green. So it is completed. So the next step is meeting scheduler and tracker. So the meeting scheduler, I use Calendly. I just have one event on here that I pretty much send to potential clients when I'm doing outreach and sending emails. So once someone opens the link that I've sent them, they're pretty much able to access my booking page, which looks exactly like this. So there's a small description, a title, there's some details here, and then pretty much your calendar. So I'll just show you guys some details of how I went about setting this up. You just go ahead and create a Calendly account, which is super basic. I don't think I need to explain much there. Um, but in terms of the description, I just wrote book a free 20-minute discovery call with us to explore how our customized marketing solutions can optimize and scale your auto detailing business. We specialize in leveraging the power of Facebook ads and artificial intelligence to drive success, streamline workflows, and propel your business forward. Let's connect and unlock the full potential of your auto shop endeavors. Schedule your session now and take the first step towards a transformative future in the industry. So that's the description. You guys can write something similar to that. I've just written a 20-minute discovery call. It takes place for 30 minutes on their calendar. So there's kind of that buffer period in case we need a little bit more time. Um, and then in terms of the calendar, you can go ahead and either link it to your Google Calendar. And if there's a block within Google Calendar, then it won't show on here. Or the second option is just to set an availability, which I've done here. So you can pretty much just come into the available hours section and set up a schedule that works for you. All right, so now that we have our Calendly set up, we can pretty much take a look at some of the trackers I use within my agency. These are trackers that you guys can also implement as well if you think that it's effective and useful. So the first sheet is a sales tracking sheet. So this is pretty much what I use to track all of my sales meetings. Of course, I've only had one so far, but it's a good place to stay organized and just have all the details. So the sales meeting that I had was on November 28th. It was with a guy named Roy. There's sections for the company name, the email and phone number, and then there's a note section. So I wrote, had a meeting with both owners and went through the slide deck. They were quite interested in the beginning, but had doubts about Facebook advertising and how it would lead to more clients in the residential tinting area. Follow up with them in the future once you have case studies. So you guys can see why this would be so effective, because I have a note saying that I should follow up with them once I have case studies. I have all their company information, such as their email and phone number. So if I wanted, I could pretty much reach out to that number in the future and say, hey, Roy, I know we connected before and it didn't really work out, but I'd love to kind of get you on a call and show you how I achieved these results for these different businesses. So that's the first sheet. The second sheet is an LTV tracker, so it's a lifetime value tracker. So it's a bit difficult to explain in terms of my niche, which is car detailing. But to keep things simple, let's just say you're working with a barber. So the average purchase value of a barber might be like $50 for a haircut. And then right next to that, you have to express the cost of goods or service sold as a percentage of the average purchase value. So let's just say a barber is experiencing 20% cost for each haircut that they give. And then in the next section, you have to enter customer behavior. So how many returns per year? So let's just say someone gets a haircut every month. So there's 12 returns per year. And then customer term in years. How long is a customer going to stay with their barber? Of course, it could be a lot longer. It could be a lot less. But to keep things safe, let's just say 3. And then number of referrals, I've written 3. I've given my barber a lot more referrals, so I'm sure we're being modest there. But the lifetime value amounts to 5,760. So you guys can kind of see why this tracker would be so effective. If you were to open this tracker up on the sales meeting and show them that, hey, this is the amount that we're going to be bringing you just from one client, it helps the business owner visualize what kind of revenues they can expect just by working with your agency. So this one's super effective. I definitely use it within mine. But yeah, it's going to be available in the resource folder, so you guys can definitely take a look and use it for yourself. So that's all for the trackers. I'm just going to come back to the Figma board and mark that as completed. The last thing under sales meeting preparation is mastering the material. So there's not much to cover with that section. I pretty much just included it because I'm personally going to set aside some time to practice my slide deck and just become a master in presenting. Make sure I'm not hesitant about anything. And if there are any questions that the client could potentially ask me, I'm prepared to answer in every way possible. So that's pretty much it for this video, actually. We've completed everything under sales meeting preparation. So we got the slide deck in order, we got the meeting scheduler, which was Calendly in place, and then we also got our tracker set up. And then once again, mastering the material, we're going to set some time aside to pretty much just practice and become a master in presenting. So that's all for this video. I know it was a bit more rushed than usual, and that's primarily because I lost the first recording where I actually explained everything in more detail and I was showing you guys side by side of me creating the slide deck. It kind of sucks that I lost that footage, but I'm hoping that you guys were still able to find value from this video. And I'm also hoping that you guys are enjoying this series. In the next video, we're going to be covering the onboarding process and creating everything related to that. So that's all for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.